You found this podcast because you're a mom who wants to disrupt what is expected of you. You're passion-focused, purpose-driven, and ready to break through to your own version of success and finally build a life and business that is totally on your own terms and led from your inner guidance system. You're not interested in replicating what someone else told you was successful. You're 100% ready to design your own reality in life and business, and you're here for it, all of it. I see you, I hear you, I am you. So let's get started in turning our dreams into bite-sized actionable steps to launch forward toward our dreamy, soulful, fulfilling, and joyful lives and businesses. Welcome to the Moms with a Purpose show. Hi, Tiffany. Thank you so much for coming on the Moms with a Purpose podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, of course. Go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, your family, how many kids you have, and anything else you want to include just about like your story.
Yeah, sure. So I am now a mom of 5. I started kind of like my adulthood with passion and desire to be a mom. And when I got started, I also had career goals. I wanted to make a good living, go to college, get a degree, all the normal stuff, work up the corporate ladder. And I graduated from college with an accounting degree. And shortly after that, I had my first child. And so it kind of changed my whole perspective on what I wanted out of life and what I thought I wanted. And so I ended up putting my career on hold to stay home with my first 2 children while they were under 5. And then when they got a little bit older, they were in school. I thought, okay, well, this is the time for me to go back and work on my career. And when I did that, even though they were in school, it was still really, really challenging to, maybe miss the activities at school, miss the field trips, have to have somebody else get them to school or pick them up. So I still struggled, just not as much as you do with a toddler. But it wasn't until I got remarried and we decided to have more children that I kind of was come up against that, that feeling again of having to choose between your kid or your career. And so I was really working hard in my career, was hoping to get ahead and thinking it was finally going to pay off. And I got my CPA license. I worked really hard during tax season and got a really bad raise. And so I was like, at that point, I was like, well, I don't think having a corporate job is ever going to get me where I want to be and still allow me to be the kind of mom I want to be. So I went back to the other route again, focusing on being the stay-at-home mom. But this time I had the plans of starting a little side hustle. I started a bookkeeping business while she was a baby. And it really took off from there and kind of changed our whole family's lives. And we realized we were able to, what I like to call now is have your cake and eat it too. And we were able to have both. So
yeah, definitely. And I think that's something a lot of the moms I talk to go through. There's that moment where it's like, and I went through a similar thing. It's like this corporate path is no longer for me. And I was just sort of reflecting on that today in my own story. So it's funny that you sort of brought that up. We're both kind of thinking about that, but there does come that point where, to me, it really feels like you really deeply reflect on your values and what you want in life. And those values just no longer match with the path you were going down in that other career, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I just didn't see how sticking with it was ever going to change. I wasn't ever going to reach those goals that I had.
Yeah, for sure. So what initially sparked your interest in bookkeeping? Was that what you sort of did in your corporate job, or was it something that was totally separate and you just kind of took an interest in it and ran with it?
Yeah, it was actually for me something I always had interest in. From high school, I took an accounting class when I was 16, and I just thought it was the most interesting, like abstract thing that I hadn't learned about before. And a lot of people in my family had owned businesses. So it kind of intrigued me thinking about doing their bookkeeping. And I did help my dad with his payroll and things like that when I was in high school. So it made a lot of sense for me to go into accounting. I did think about for a while going into teaching because I do have like a passion to teach people, but I decided to go into accounting at that time and then ended up getting, a decent amount of experience, which gave me the confidence to start something small on the side.
Yeah, that's amazing. So for those moms that are listening, maybe they do want to try like a side hustle business and then they're listening and they're like, oh, bookkeeping sounds interesting. So can you talk a little bit about that and just give moms a little bit background as to what they could expect with that or who could even start a bookkeeping business?
Yeah, absolutely. So, bookkeeping business is really great to get into just because every single other business that's in operation needs a bookkeeper. So, the amount of clients that are out there waiting for everyone are so plentiful. Like, there's over 30 million businesses in the US alone, and they all have to do bookkeeping. So, my favorite thing about it is that there really is no competition. It's very easy to find clients. And then the other thing that's great is you don't have to have a 4-year accounting degree or tons of experience to learn how to do it. So we've actually been able to take what most people think is a complex subject and break it down into really easy to understand pieces. So the majority of the students that come into our program have no prior experience with bookkeeping. They don't have accounting degrees. We have people ranging from, like elementary school teachers to nurses. We even have police officers that have joined our program. And one of my favorites is that we have a former dolphin trainer that is now like a really super successful bookkeeping business owner. So you can really, you don't have to be good at math or good with numbers. As long as you can keep things organized and you like working on a computer, then you can anybody can learn this skill.
Yeah, that's amazing because I know a lot of moms, are looking for that sort of flexible opportunity that they could get into because a lot of us have that same thought going back to when we start families, it changes a lot of things in our lives and it kind of flips things around and we start thinking about how we can both pursue our career goals, our passions, and our purpose, and all of those things, but still be very much present for our families. So I love that you found that flexibility and sort of just created your own thing. That's just incredible.
Yeah, thank you. It was definitely when I had my bookkeeping business was such a life-changing experience for our family. And I can even share a detail about when we decided to grow our family again. I ended up getting pregnant with twins. And it was such a great opportunity to have had this business during that time because it was so flexible. Like I wasn't able to walk around a lot at the end. I got short of breath just like walking up the stairs, and I'm only 5'1". So like my torso is like really small, and I had like 2 7-pound babies in there. So it was really difficult, and I was able to scale back so much without losing any money and keeping our same monthly money coming in. And the business was just so flexible that I could really kind of scale back and focus on my family and just work when I felt good. And I had a lot of doctor's appointments to go to and things like that. And it was just so nice to never have to worry about like my boss getting upset with me because I have to take more time off or worry about losing my job, things like that. So I love the flexibility it provides for moms.
Yeah, definitely. That flexibility is just so huge. And once you start feeling that flexibility, once you're in that situation, it's like it's hard to ever go back, right? We're not like, we don't want to go backwards and like not have that flexibility again. So what has been, would you say, Tiffany, one of your challenges in building your business while managing family life?
Let's see. A challenge with building the business and managing family life. I think one of the hardest things that people struggle with when they become business owners is that it's different than having a job, because when you leave your job and you clock out, you don't care. You don't have to care. You know, you go home and focus on your family, and you don't have to think about work if you're lucky enough to not, have your work email on your phone and things like that. But with a business, you really can't get completely away from it. So you have to be much better and much more intentional about separating business and family so that you can be present when you want to be with your kids and not always thinking or talking about work. And then when you're working, try to also focus on that when you can. And so if you have less interruptions, you can zoom through your work and then go be a present parent.
Yeah, definitely. I love that advice. So what other advice would you give to moms who want to kind of do something similar or, build a flexible business from home? Would there be 3 sort of actionable steps they could take to get started?
Yeah, to get started in a bookkeeping business specifically, well, I have an ebook on my website that kind of talks about the journey on what you can expect to go through as you transition into this type of business for your family. And a few actionable steps that I have put in there is to set up your LLC, pick out a business name and get that set up your bank account so you can keep things separately. And you can even take a free QuickBooks training that helps you become a certified pro advisor so that you have one certification under your belt if you would, like that to feel more confident. So there's a couple of things that you could do to get started. And of course, I go live every Tuesday in my Facebook group. So that's something where you can get a lot of information to get started as well. But I guess one piece of advice I always give people is that when you start a business or you start anything that is new, you're always going to have fear around it, whether it's imposter syndrome or you're just, scared to do something that you've never done before. Like maybe you're an introvert and you don't want to, put yourself out there. There's a lot of things that you might feel fear around, but that knowing that that's really, really normal, but not letting it stop you from actually doing it, that's how you become successful.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you mentioned that about the fear. I always like to say fear it's like an acronym, false evidence appearing real. So sometimes it's something that might have been based off of a reality we had sometime in the past, but it surfaces even in situations where we might not need it to surface. So we kind of have to evaluate, where is this fear coming from? And then, take steps forward, take baby steps forward, and just do things anyways. Despite the fear, sometimes getting past that fear is the hardest part. But once we do, then doors start opening. What would you say, Tiffany? So you talk about the concept of being more than the breadwinner while staying home with your family. Can you talk a little bit about that concept and just tell moms what are your thoughts on, being the breadwinner and staying home with your family and all those things?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first started my bookkeeping business, it was supposed to be a side hustle. I was going to go back to being a stay-at-home mom and just pick up a few clients to cover the difference in what I was losing. And it quickly grew so fast that within 7 months, I was able to retire my husband. So my bookkeeping business, even though I was working very, very part-time, brought in enough money to cover all of our household bills. And so from there, it just kind of kept growing. And over time, the business grew and I was making way more money than both of us were combined pretty quickly. And so I did become the breadwinner, but more than the breadwinner because it was more money than we'd ever made before. But still getting to fulfill that primary parent role. I mean, I can't speak for all moms, but for me, I'm kind of a control freak mom. I want to raise my kids, I want to be as involved as possible. And even though my husband was home, I still was like incredibly involved in the kids. I nursed our twins for 2 years while I was still working on my business. And I was able to even train my husband to do some stuff too. And a lot of my students have followed my footsteps in that as well and have retired their husbands. And while it might not be for everybody, for every couple, for a lot of us, it works really well because then you have like this family unit, you're home together all the time, working together all the time, and just able to, like really create that family bond, really strong bond. So, and I think it really starts with the moms, we like can glue it all together. So that's my thought about it.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. And what comes up for me while you're saying all of that, this thought that it comes out of like being in corporate America, sort of, and that in order to be the breadwinner, you have to not be the present parent, right? You have to dedicate all of your time to working, all of your time to work projects. You have to put yourself fully into the career, and then it takes away from your family life. But I love that now we're kind of flipping this script on the breadwinner status and saying, no, you know what? You could be the breadwinner, but still be that present parent. And this is how to do it. This is like a whole new like way of working, like a reimagined way of working. And I just absolutely I just love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It allows you to choose your schedule, choose your life, and, choose what's important to you. And then you get to live it.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely the way of the future, I think. We're definitely moving towards more like a gig economy, more independent and freelancing, and I'm all for it. So, what's the favorite part, like your favorite part of the work that you're doing? What are you super passionate about?
Yeah, my favorite part is what I always like to tell people is actually a side effect of starting a business. In addition to all, like the time freedom and the financial freedom you get, the thing that I love watching the most is watching all of these moms just transform into a new person. Their personal internal development takes them to like a new level of confidence that most of them didn't even realize that they had inside them. And not only is it so cool to watch them, but then to think about how that is having an effect on their parenting and having an effect on how their kids are raised. It's just like chilling to me to watch. I absolutely love it. And I feel like it's really going to help the next generation of kids coming up to just be like so much more well balanced and, just a solid head on their shoulder. And it's just so fun to watch that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that and love that you said that, because a big part of like this whole platform is trying to make, bring that awareness, like the things that we're doing today, the fact that we're even pursuing our dreams, that we're making these things happen. We are going out and like starting businesses, and we're putting these things out into the world that is showing our kids like that they can do anything that they want to. Like they're not limited. They have like endless possibilities that they can create and do. So I love that. So what is the biggest takeaway you've learned from starting your business?
Biggest takeaway is probably knowing and realizing that I love this like Henry Ford quote, whatever you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So whatever you tell yourself, I can or can't do this, it's totally true. So if you can just flip it and change the story in your mind and tell yourself you can, then you totally can. So that's one of the things I've really learned a lot is just the power of your mindset and the power of your thinking can really change everything.
Yeah, definitely. It is sort of like your thoughts become actions. So what you think, you're going to manifest into the real world in some way, shape, or form. So if you're constantly thinking like about negative things, then that is what is going to be drawn into your world. And if you constantly think about positive things and how you're going to succeed, that's what will be drawn into your world. And what inspires you?
What inspires me? I guess I'm like really inspired and motivated by also kind of the same thing, like teaching my kids and showing my kids that they can follow their dreams. Like we grew up, everyone say, follow your dreams, follow your dreams, but we didn't really know what that meant. But I think my kids can see that really does happen if you keep working hard and you go after something, even if you're scared or even if there's obstacles, that you can achieve your dreams, and then you think of new ones, and then you work towards achieving those new dreams.
Yeah, love that so much. Well, thank you, Tiffany. Are there any other thoughts that you want to leave moms with? And then we'll after that, we'll dive into a couple lightning round questions to get to know you and what you're working on. But any other thoughts that you just want to leave moms with? And it could be on anything.
Yeah, I guess if you are feeling stuck in your life at all, whether you're like a stay-at-home mom and you're feeling stuck, or you're in a corporate job and you wish you weren't there and you're feeling stuck, there is an option for you to have your cake and eat it too, and have that kind of lifestyle that you want. So you're not trapped and you're not stuck. You just haven't found the right solution yet. So it is out there.
I love that message. Yes, I hope that message reaches so many moms that need to hear it right now. There's always possibilities for you. So I just have a couple more questions to get to know you, and then I'll just find out where we can find you online and all those good things. What would you say is your favorite part of being a mom?
My favorite part of being a mom is helping to shape their minds. I love teaching. So that was my favorite part about being a mom, is showing them. We homeschool, so I really love to be able to teach them things, teach them about the world, help challenge their thoughts and ideas. And I love seeing them grow, even if it's they're teenagers. But you know how when they're toddlers and you can literally see the wheels turning when they're learning something or playing with a new toy or something like that. That is so rewarding to me. I love that part of being a mom, is seeing your kids grow and learn and mature.
Yeah, I love that. It's just an incredible experience that is unlike anything in the world, I think. What would be one thing about you that people would not expect, or something about you that you did or that you like, or anything like that?
I always tell a really fun fact to all of my students that I've been married twice, and both times was in Jamaica.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. I actually was married in Hawaii.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I love that tropical vibe. Who would be your favorite influential authors, other podcasters that you've listened to, or other experts that have really influenced you in your life?
Let's see. There is a lot. I think that, currently right now, I'm really into reading just about anything with Grant or Elena Cardone. Those are my go-tos right now. But the number one thing that I have all of my students read when they first start out is this book called The Secret. And it really just talks about manifesting what you want out of life. And if you can learn that skill, you can really be super successful in your business and really have whatever kind of life that you want.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so happy that you brought up The Secret. That is definitely a must read for anybody that wants to start manifesting things in their lives, but also it's very connected to all of the work that I'm doing on this podcast and what I do in my business. So I'm so excited that you brought that up.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. So anything in your business right now that you're working on that you're really excited about? Any program launches coming up? Just let us know all the things that you have going on.
Okay. Yeah, we actually do. We have our main bookkeeper academy. And in the academy, we teach moms how to go from scratch. They don't know anything about bookkeeping. They don't even know how to start a business or do marketing or anything like that. And we teach them how to do all of that stuff, how to do bookkeeping, how to grow their bookkeeping business. So within 12 months, they can make $100,000 a year. And we've had thousands of moms go through our program, and they make like well over $100,000 a year now. So we've created a secondary program that we relaunched last month, and it is called the $1 Million Bookkeeper Inner Circle. And we teach these moms how to hire a team, step into their CEO role, and grow their bookkeeping business to 7 figures while they're still working part-time with their kids.
I love that. That is so incredible. Yeah, definitely. We'll share all the links to everything in the show notes. So anything you want to give to me, I'll put in the show notes if moms are interested to come check you out. And then where do you hang out most often online where moms can go follow you?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone can connect with me on Facebook. We also have a Facebook group, and I go live in there every Tuesday, and we really have a great, strong community in there. The Facebook group is called Have Your Cake and Eat It Too. That's the motto of our company. And our website is stayatHomeBookkeeper.com.
Okay, great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for being a guest on the show today. I know moms are going to get so much out of this conversation, and regardless if they want to go into bookkeeping or not, just talking about like all of these sort of business related and just following your dreams, following your passions while still being present for your family. I just love talking about all that with you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much for tuning into the Moms with a Purpose show today. I am so grateful that you decided to listen to my podcast. I am so excited to continue bringing you valuable content that will help you in your purposeful, passion-filled mom life going forward. So if you enjoyed the content on this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. In addition, I want to invite you to join my Facebook group called Moms with a Purpose. I will leave the link in the show notes, but I would really love for you to join. We touch on all of the topics talked about on this podcast, plus feature free challenges and a chance to meet other purpose-driven moms that are out there following their passions and pursuing their dreams just as you are in their own unique ways. So I would love to see you in the Facebook group. Until next time, have a great week, and thank you so much for tuning in.